Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today for my introduction for my 2020 hashtag Team Project Pan. So this is essentially just a project pan that I started with Hayley. We did it last year. A lot of people really enjoyed watching it and following it along, so we decided to do it again for 2020. Now, if you want to start this yourself, essentially what it is a full face rolling project pan. So you pick an item from sort of each category of makeup or skincare or whatever you're using, and as you use up a product, you roll a new one in, and then every 3 months you can do a refresh. So if there's items that you're not liking, or your, I don't know, skin is changing or color preferences changing for the season, you can swap out some products for newer ones to keep it fresh and exciting. And there is a spreadsheet that you can download to keep track of your sort of products and your progress. That's the word. So I will leave a link to the introduction that we filmed the other week. So if you want to see more about that, you can check it out in the description box. And if you want to watch other people doing this particular project pan, you can click the hashtag Team Project Pan 2020, and you can discover new channels or even new Instagram accounts or whatever it might be that is doing this project pan. So if you missed my last video, it was actually my conclusion of my 2019 hashtag Team Project Pan, and I did a tally of all the products I used up last year in that project, and it was around 60, which I thought was really, really good. So one thing I love about doing this project pan is that since it's a full face and since it's rolling, you can just start using up products really organically. And the whole point of it is to sort of use products that are starting to get old, products that you don't really love that much, or you just want to get use of your collection. So that's sort of like the point of it. It also really makes you mindful of you know, how long it takes to use up a product. So if you know it takes you over a year to use a highlighter, I know I'm personally less inclined to buy more highlighters. I did do a video about tips and tricks on how to sort of start a project pan or keep at it. So I'll link that in the description box below as well. So let's get on to the products that I'm including in this year's project pan. Some of them will be carrying over from my last year's project pan, so they might be familiar to you. But I have been pretty enthusiastic this year. There is some categories where I've got multiple products in, and I'll explain why, but we'll see how we go. And if I don't like them, or if I'm not doing well with them, I'll take them out at the 3-month check-in. But for my primer, I'm bringing back the Smashbox Photofinish Minimizing Pores Primer. So I've been using this for a couple of months now, and I'm happy to keep going with it. I like it. It's great for the warm weather, so that is coming with me. I've got 2 completely new foundations for this project pan. One is a BB cream, one is slightly more higher coverage. So we've got the Roche-Posay. This is the Uvidea XL BB cream. So it's a melt-in BB cream. It's a tinted product. It's got SPF 50 in Australia, so I thought it's a perfect time because we're currently in summer. And I have been using this quite a lot. Sometimes I mix it with higher coverage foundations just to sort of add a little bit more coverage to it, but that's sort of like just a daily basis sort of foundation. There's not too much in it. I feel like it's sort of down around here, so I feel like it should be done pretty quickly. Sometimes it's good to introduce products that you know are going to be easy to use up, so you can sort of keep motivating yourself, but that one I'm introducing. I'm also introducing the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. So this one isn't nearly as used up as the last one. So you can see the settle line when this does settle. It's been sort of like rolling around, so I can't see it properly, but I will mark it soon. But I think it's around up to there. Now, the reason why I want to use this now is because this is a little bit too yellow for me, but it works pretty well in summer. So I'm going to try to use this before the weather gets a bit cooler, and I'm going to try to use it while I'm a little bit tanned. For concealer, I'm actually using an almost full concealer that I bought, I think only about 6 months ago. So this is the Flower Beauty Concealer in the shade Light, the Light Illusion Concealer. Now, the reason I've picked this is because I don't love it, and I want to see, I don't know, I want to get more use out of it, because sometimes project pans are really good, that if you force yourself to use something on a daily basis, you can either really decide, do I like this and want to keep it, and can I make it work, or do I not like it? So I'm not really sure at this point how I feel about this. So I want to get more use out of it so I can make my mind up, like, do I continue to use it until I use it up, or do I declutter it? So that's sort of why this is going to be in the project, but it's fairly new. When it comes to powder, I've decided to be a bit ambitious with this, and which is probably the theme of this project pan. I've decided to pick one that I got, once again, only earlier in 2019. So it's definitely not my oldest powder, but it's one that I really haven't given too much of a chance to because I was using so many powders in my project pan. So this is the Fit Me loose finishing powder from Maybelline. My shade is Fair Light. I've heard really good things about this powder and I just want to give it a go because I do have other powders in my collection that I'm a little bit precious about. So I don't really want to focus on them to use it up, but this is one that I'm happy to try every day. If I really, really love it, the good thing is it's drugstore, so I can just repurchase it. But I want to give it a go by like trying it every day to see how much I enjoy it. And that's why I want to put this in my project. My finishing spray is carried over from my last year's one. So this is the Smashbox Serene Greens Primer Water. So it is currently down to here. I will mark it, but I think this only has like maybe 2 months left to go and then I'll change it up for something else. All right, speaking of ambitious, my colored base products, just get ready. So firstly, I've picked a powder bronzer, and this is a big powder bronzer. It's by Mecca Max, and it is the Beyond Bronze Mega Bronzer. This contains 30 grams of bronzer. It's ridiculous. So it's a massive bronzer. It does have a wave design on it. I actually quite like this bronzer for summer. It's actually a really nice color for me, and it's got a little bit of it's not a matte bronzer, it's got a little bit of sheen to it, so it gives like a really healthy kind of glow without it being too shiny or too glittery. This is also really nice down your chest, on your arms, or wherever you want to bronze. So I'm hoping that because I'm currently in summer, I can get a lot of use out of this. But it's a 30-gram bronzer, which is absolutely absurd. This will probably take me all year to use up, but we will see. This is probably one that I can't wear in winter, so I'm going to see how much progress I can get on it, and then I can maybe swap it out in 6 months' time. I don't know, but it's hugely ambitious. So that's the bronzer. And if that wasn't enough, I really want to give the Huda Beauty Tantour. This is a contour and bronzer cream. The shade I have is Fair. I want to give this a go because I've got this left over from the makeup breakup. It is a cream product, as you can see. This contains 11 grams of product. It's very, very highly pigmented. I'm not the kind of person that likes to contour. I'm the kind of person that likes to just sort of bronze around my face. So this is something that's out of my comfort zone. But I've heard really good things if you apply it under your foundation. And I figure, once again, we're in the warmer months, so it's the one opportunity that I can really give this a crack and see if I can make this work before I decide to declutter it. So I really want to play with it in this project pan and really try while I can and while it's sort of weather appropriate. Speaking of ambitious, I'm not just going to include a blush, I'm going to include a blush palette. There's something, I've got a lot of face palettes kicking around, and I'm really wanting to sort of see if each year I can use it up or whatever. And this is a Tarte palette from a couple of holidays ago. This is the Color Wheel Amazonian Clay Blush Palette. Now, this has a lot of blush, and if you know how hard it is to pan blush, you'll realize that this is not something I can pan in a year. But what is good about this palette is that it's got some sort of more summery shades. It's got some more mauvey tone shades. It does have a couple of highlighters in there. It's got mattes and it's got shimmers. So I'm going to see how much I can use this up this year, and probably by the end of the year, if I don't love it, I'm just going to get rid of it. Because like I said, I do have a bunch of face palettes that are just going unused. So I really do want to see how much of this I can use up. I do know there's some colors that I don't like. So for example, these sort of bright pinks, I don't really mesh with. So if I ignore them, it's not going to be that big a deal, but I do want to get some good pan action on this. I'm carrying over my highlighters from the last project pan. So I've got the liquid illuminator from Lancôme, and I've got the Pixi glowy Gossamer duo in Subtle Sunrise. So this one I've made some really good progress on. So there's some really big dents in there. You can probably see if I hold it to the side. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's some big dents in there. Probably that way is better. There we go. So you can see some big dents. So this is something I'm quite determined to hit pan on. Also, I really like this color at the moment, this peachy color in summer. I do mix it a little bit with the gold, but that's something I want to sort of continue getting progress on. So these are carryover products. All right, let's get on to eye products. I am carrying over the IT Cosmetics mascara because it's still going strong from last year, so I'm carrying this one over until I use it up. I'm also carrying over the liquid liner from Shuramura. This is the Water Paint Ink Liner in Deep Purple. I want to use this until it dries out because it's a really nice formula. Now, if you watched my 2019 project pan, you'll know it took me all year to use up a black gel liner. Now, I think this one's going to be a little bit easier because it's a sort of dark, sort of plummy, browny purple color. And it's a color that I actually like using more than black. Now, this is by MAC and it's the Fluid Line in Past Twilight. It was out a long time ago. It's an old limited edition shade. It's got a really big dent in it, so I might zoom in so you can see, but I love the color. It's starting to dry out a little bit, so I'm not going to weigh this. I'm going to take progress photos because every now and again I'm going to have to put some like rehydrating like Duraline in there to sort of make it work, but I'll zoom in so you can see what this is up to. It's pretty hollow. So I reckon if I wear it a lot, which I really like this color, maybe 6 months, we'll see, probably a year, let's be real. So I'm not sure if you can see, but it is pretty hollow in there, but it's a really beautiful liner. And I know it sounds a little bit bizarre, but I'm actually really excited to use this a lot because I really, really, really love the color. So last year I panned an eyeshadow primer and it took me all year. So this year I don't really want to target an eyeshadow primer because the ones that I'm using I really enjoy. I don't want to use them up too quickly. So instead, I'm actually going to focus on an eyeshadow crayon type product. Now this is from Jouer. It's a cream eyeshadow crayon in rose gold. So it's like a stick eyeshadow primer and you can, not an eyeshadow primer, stick eyeshadow that you can use as a primer, as an eyeshadow. I only got this within the last couple of months, so it is like almost full. And the only reason I'm panning this is because I don't love the color. It's quite pink for me. So I can see myself using this as a base to then apply eyeshadows over the top. So this one, it's also really easy to track because it's retractable. So you can go, okay, that's how much product I've got. And you can sort of mark it as it goes down. So I thought this is kind of a fun one to pan, even though it's going to take a very long time to pan. But that's going to be sort of my eyeshadow primer type product. Now, I didn't do the best job at panning an eyeshadow last year. I hit pan on a duo, but I didn't actually finish it up. And I was thinking of maybe not putting any eyeshadows in this year, but I decided there are 3 loose eyeshadows, single eyeshadows, sorry, that I really enjoy using just on a daily basis. So when I'm not actually reviewing an eyeshadow palette, these are sort of colors that I'm happy to reach for. So I thought I'll put them in and see how I go. I'm not going to put heaps of pressure on myself using up eyeshadows because I like to review eyeshadow palettes and I like to change up my eyeshadows. So once again, I'm not going to put heaps of pressure on myself, but these are sort of things that I can use on sort of off non-testing eyeshadow days. So this is a eyeshadow that's been in my collection for a long time. I really, really like it and I just would like to get more use out of it before it goes bad. So this is the Illamasqua powder eyeshadow in the shade Justify. And it's a really beautiful sort of cool tone transition brown, super soft, really, really beautiful formula. Really enjoy it just in the crease. So there we go. Happy to use that. It actually works as a contour shade as well in winter. But I reckon I could use that up because it's so soft and so like easy to pick up and blend and beautiful. It's beautiful. Then I've got this Ulta Beauty single eyeshadow in Bronze Babe. This is a kind of brown that I really like using just all over the lid. So it's sort of similar to what I'm wearing today, but it's not what I'm wearing. And once again, this is sort of, yeah, my kind of color. So I can use this most days. When I'm not really thinking about eyeshadows too much. And those pair really nicely. So I thought we'll see how we go with this one. Lastly, one that I do like having in my collection because it's sort of really handy. It's a little Wet n Wild single. It's in the shade Brulee, which is just a matte cream. This does have a big dent in it. So we'll see if I can show you. So if you're familiar with Wet n Wild eyeshadows, they have this sort of design on it, but it's completely worn off. So it's definitely a heavily used eyeshadow, but it's one that I can use in most looks. So I thought I'll incorporate that as well. Now I've got 3 brow products that I am bringing into the project. One is a carry-on from the last one. I actually forgot to update this in my last video, but there's not too much progress on it. I did find that I had to start rehydrating it with Duraline because it's too dry. So this is just the Benefit Ka-Brow, and it's in the shade 3.5. It's a really nice brow pomade, but once again, this one for me is getting just too dry. So I sort of want to focus on it to use it up before it dries out completely. But yeah, there's not much progress made on that one. So we'll see how we go. It's like almost completely full. So I like to fill in my brows with a powder or a pomade or a thick pencil. And then I like to go in with a smaller pencil to sort of add little like little hairs, mimic some hairs. So I like to incorporate a micro brow pencil. This is by MAC, and it's in the it's Eyebrows Pencil in Stylized. Now I actually have a backup of this and it's too light for me. So it's one of those things that I like to use, and it's not a bad pencil, but it's just too light. So I want this gone because it's not my shade. I can't twist this out to show you how much product is in it. Because it's not a like I can't retract it back in. So I'm gonna have to probably weigh this one and see and hope it registers on the scales. Last brow product is a mini, this is an Anasazi Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel. I actually have a large version of this, and I've had this kicking around for quite some time. It actually works really well at setting your brows, but I thought I'd use this up because I have the bigger one. And we're not done yet. We're on to lips, and this is like, I feel like we've got a lot of products to use up this year. So lip products, I've pretty much chosen one thing from each category. I've got a lip balm. So this is from Sephora. It's the Watermelon Lip Balm. So this one has quite a bit to go, but I do like having a lip balm next to my computer. Then instead of like a lipstick, I've got more of a tinted balm. So this is the Elizabeth Arden Lip Protectant Stick. It's got SPF 15, which is great. Looks quite dark, but it's a sheer thing. So it ends up looking quite nude. There it is there. It's almost got a like orangey tint to it. So this, yeah, there's not much use out of it. I'll take a photo and then we'll see the progress. Lately, I've been really liking the look of sort of defining my lips with a lip pencil and then applying a gloss over the top. And these are just 2 that I've pulled out because I like the colors. They are both getting old, so I thought I'll put them in my project pan. So this lip pencil is from Illamasqua. It's a medium pencil in the shade Ascend. So this is just a really nice sort of nudie brown. It's not what I'm wearing today, but it's quite similar. It's really nice at shaping your lips, adding a bit of color. So that one, you know, look, it's that big. I don't know. I'll take a photo and we can compare as I go. And then I want to use Ultra Glossy Lip in Moonchild from Colourpop. So this is a nice nude with a bit of sparkle in it. And I've been using this a lot because it pairs really nicely with that lip liner. You can see that they're quite similar tone. It just adds a bit of glossiness to it. So I did pan a Colourpop lip, Ultra Glossy Lip last year, and I want to try again. Then I thought I need to challenge myself a little bit more because this is not challenging enough. And I wanted to try to see if I can use up a liquid lipstick. Now I haven't done this in the past, so we'll see how we go. But one that's been in my collection for a while. I'm not obsessed with the formula, but I really do like the color and it works for sort of summer makeup. It's the Huda Beauty Liquid Matte Lipstick in Trendsetter. So this is the color I'm wearing today. It's quite lightweight, it's quite comfortable. I think I can wear this most days when I'm not wearing a bright color, so I thought I'll see how I go with this. Another benefit to it is it's quite liquidy, so I don't know if it will settle if I stand it up. If it does, that'd be so good to mark, otherwise I'll just have to weigh it. But yeah, I want to see how I go panning a liquid lipstick. All right, so that's all the makeup. Now let's get into a couple of skincare items, body care, hair care, fragrance, and then we're done. I know it's a lot of products, but you know, you start big and then you can whittle it down as you go. So for face products, so skincare, I realized that I have this on my sink. It's one of those items that I can incorporate into my skincare routine, but I just forget to do it. So I may as well give it a crack. So it's a Dermalogica Antioxidant Hydro Mist. So you can spray this on your face, like almost like a toner sort of step. And yeah, it's a refreshing antioxidant toner. and I just keep forgetting to use it. I don't really use toners much, so this is a step that I can start incorporating and that I should incorporate. This is like right here. Like there's so much of it to go. So this is going to be a big project, but if I can incorporate it, it'll be good for my skin and I'll be able to use up an item that's been sitting on my sink for too long. Then I thought another item that I don't use is eye creams. It's just something that I forget to use. So I want to target an eye cream. This is from Kiehl's. It's a youth dose eye treatment. It's got pro-retinol, red grape seed extract and vitamin C. So yeah, I can probably use this night and morning if I remember to. If I squeeze it, it's pretty much down to maybe there. But the good thing is I can sort of get some air out and then use one of those, you know, tube squeezy things to mark it. Yeah, if you push some air out. Yeah, it's one of those products that I just don't really use. I like the product, same as this. I like the product. It's just a step that I forget to use, so I'm forcing myself to remember to do the step. Body product is a carry-on from the 2019 Project Pan. It's my Tony Moly body oil, so it's up to here. When I introduced it, it was up to there, so it should only take me a couple months to use this up. But it's getting harder as the weather gets hotter, so it's because it gets a little bit sticky and oily. But yeah, I want to use this up. When it comes to hair products, I'm not carrying over that Shine oil from last year. There is no way, no how. And I am kicking myself that I didn't take that out earlier because I could have been making progress on items that I could have been making progress on. So I'm going to try to make up for lost time this year. Because if you watched my conclusion of my 2019 Project Pan, you'll know I only used up one hair product last year. And I think if I took out that Shine oil, I could have used up a lot more. So I should have taken that out mid-year, but I didn't. So this year I'm actually focusing mainly on dry shampoos. I've got probably about 10 dry shampoos in my stash and only a couple of them that I really like. So I thought I'll get rid of the ones that work but I don't love. And the first one on the chopping block is the Batiste Dry Shampoo and Hydrate. This one I don't mind and there's not much left in it. It sort of feels like it's like down to here. So it's one of those products that I should use up pretty quickly. Now, in case I do use this up quickly, I've decided to put in this dry shampoo damage control. So it's from the same range, but this is the Hydrate. This is the damage control, and this one's nearly full. Now, again, I don't know if I'm going to get around to using this one in the next month, but if I do use this one up, I want to go straight on to another one and start seeing the progress. So I'm including them both. And lastly is the fragrance. Now I used up, I think 4 fragrances last year, and I have whittled down my collection quite a lot. There's only really 2 fragrances that I want to use up this year, and then I'm happy with the amount of fragrances I have, which is really great. So one that I want to focus on, I actually really love this perfume, and I sort of use it up and then every few years I'll buy it again just for nostalgia reasons, but I do know that it can go off and the applicator can get stuck and a bit jammed. So before it gets bad, I want to use it up. And this is the Britney Spears Midnight Fantasy. It is currently down to here. And it's a 100ml bottle, so it's going to take a while. It's also quite a strong fragrance, so I can't use too much of it. So it's going to be a slow going one, but it is a really beautiful sort of black currant scent. I like it in summer, I like it in winter, so I'm happy to use it. And the color is beautiful. You can't see it because the light's not behind it, but hang on, if I do this, but look how beautiful that is. So that's probably best how you can see what it's up to, but there we go. So yeah, definitely it's not one that I'm trying to get rid of because I don't like. I just know that it will start turning soon and I want to use it up before it does. And I love this. I'm going to spray it on me now. Oh, reminds me of my teen, early 20 years. I love it. One thing I do want to mention is I've skipped the category of nail products this year because I can't do it. I didn't finish any nail products last year and that was a treatment. So nail products aren't something I'm going to focus on, but I feel like there's plenty here to get through. So, all right, so that's probably an overly ambitious start to the Project Pan, but may as well start big and see how we go. And I can always, you know, take out products or whittle them down as we go. But yeah, if you want to keep up with my Project Pan series, I do monthly check-ins at the start of each month, so I'll be back in a month with the progress. And if you want to see some of my old videos from last year's series, I'll leave a playlist down below. But do click on the hashtag if you want to see other people who are doing this project pan. If you want to check out the introduction to see all the rules and you want to maybe do one yourself, I'll leave the link, like I said, to the video where we introduce it. But if you're doing a project pan, good luck. Hopefully this is a start to a very successful project pan. 2020, yeah. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.